Hey, it's Peter Harris. Welcome back to the channel. Today, I'm going to save you from making some very expensive mistakes. I've been coaching beginning commercial and multifamily investors for over 25 years, and I've seen the same pattern over and over. Smart people, good intentions, terrible first deal. And it almost kills their investing career before it even starts. So today, I'm breaking down the 5 properties beginners should never buy, the ones that look like great deals but will drain your time and money. So if you're about to buy your first or second commercial or multifamily property, this video could literally save you hundreds of thousands of dollars. Let's get started. All right, here is property number 1 to never buy, and that is a cheap fixer-upper in a declining market. You will find dozens of these deals online today, today, and they'll look like this, right? You'll find something, a brochure or listing that says low price, needs some work, but great upside. And what you're thinking is this: wow, I can actually afford this property. But here's what you're missing. You're missing in this area, right? This fixer upper in a declining market, that guess what? Population is going down. Jobs are going down. Crime is rising and rents are going down, right? You do not want to be in this condition. And by the way, time out. If you ever want to know how to qualify a market or a city to see if it's good to invest in, I'm going to put the side of the screen that what you want to look for is population growth, job growth, crime trends, and rents. So look at the screen. If you can focus on these 4, this will really help you choosing the right area. All right, let me get back to my number 1 here. Okay, so if you have these 4 things going on and you actually buy the property, here's what's going to happen. Your buy will end up costing way more to fix than what you thought. Okay, and guess what? And because of that, your rents won't support the mortgage because of the declining rents and what's going on in this market. And lastly, you won't be able to sell it because no one else wants it either. Got it? Okay, so avoid this property, the cheap fixer-upper in a declining market. All right, let's go on to property number 2. Got questions? Simply text the word Peter to 833-942-4516 and we'll help you. Here we are with property number 2 to never buy, right? And that is a master metered money pit. Here's what I mean by that. I fell into this trap over 20 years ago buying a student housing project, and I ran into the exact problem. It didn't end well. I learned a ton that I'm going to try to share with you today. All right, so let's say we have a 12-unit property, okay? And by the way, mine was over 50 units. So you can imagine the problems I had with my property 25 years ago. This is a 12-unit property. Okay, it's an older property, right? But when I say mastered metered, that means there's only one electrical meter for all 12 units. Okay, and then let's say we have non-upgraded electrical panels. The panels are old. The other thing is we have one gas meter. That means all 12 units of gas usage is only on 1 meter. That means the tenants aren't paying for their own electric and they're not paying for their own gas. That is problematic, combined with being an older property. Here are the results. All right, you're going to have very high utility costs. Okay, very high, because guess what? The tenants are not paying for their own electric and their own gas. You, as a landlord, is responsible for paying all the utilities. Imagine what your gas and electricity bill will be in the wintertime or in the summertime, sky high. Okay, what this is going to do is, the problem is the tenants will abuse their electric and gas usage because they're not paying for it. So what they're going to do is they're going to open the window up while having the heater on. They are going to keep the TV and the heater on while they go to work. They are going to keep all the utilities on while they're not even in the unit because they're not paying for it. Okay, that is the huge problem. The result will be you will have a very low NOI, and when the NOI drops, guess what? Your cash flow drops, your property value drops. Very problematic. To me, a no-win situation. Now, I know you're thinking, Peter, why don't I just charge RUBS, okay? A resident utility billing system where you can actually just segregate the utility costs and charge the tenants. You can do that, right? In an older building, you have to be careful that you can actually do that, right? So that is one solution. The other solution you may be thinking is, Peter, why don't I just install electrical meters and gas meters? Here's the problem. It's an older property, okay? And because it has non-upgraded electrical panels, in order for you to do the conversion into separate meters, you're going to have to upgrade the electrical panels. In an older property, it's going to cost you tens of thousands of dollars to do, and it's not worth it. Okay? So be careful, be leery of master metered properties. It can be a money pit. Got it? All right, let's go on to property number 3. All right, here is the third property you should never buy, and that is the legal landmine. Let me explain. Let's say that you are looking at a 5-unit property, okay? So it's listed as a 5-unit property, but in the listing it says the 5th unit is a basement unit, okay? So whenever it says a bonus unit or you have a basement or attic unit, you need to put on your reticular activators, okay? Here's why. You better check, right? If it says in the listing agreement or on the brochure, if this is a non-conforming unit or if it's an illegal unit, if it's an in-law unit or bonus unit or ADU, ADU stands for additional dwelling unit, you better check to make sure this 5th unit, okay, the attic unit or the basement unit, has a certificate of occupancy. We call this CO. Okay, CO means the city has blessed it. The city has come and looked at it, and they said, okay, this is a legal unit. You can occupy it and rent it. Okay, that's what a certificate of occupancy. It comes from the city. The second thing is to make sure that this unit was built with permits. Okay, if it wasn't built with permits, if your handyman just put up a basement unit, you put some floors, some walls to separate the bathrooms from the bedrooms and appliances, and you decide to rent it without getting permits from the city, you will not get a certificate of occupancy. And guess what? The city has the right to shut down this unit and have you remove everything and convert it back to storage, okay, or what it was previously, and you can never rent it again. And your property will be flagged in the system. So if you try to do it again, it won't happen. You get in big trouble. It becomes a landmine, so to speak. All right. So again, number 3 is the legal landmine. If you see any of these words in your listing, be careful and check out to make sure you have these 2 things. Got it? Or else it could blow up. All right, let's go on to property number 4. Every successful commercial real estate investor has a mentor. Get mentored by me and my team by applying to be our next protege. Click the top corner. All right, here is property number 4 that you should never buy. Okay, property number 4 are properties that require you to be the hero. Okay, here's what I mean by that. All right, so I call these types of properties the silent killer. Okay, the silent killer means the property or the deal only cash flows. Okay, only cash flows if you become a full-time property manager, an eviction specialist, a handyman, etc. You get the picture. All right. If you have to do all that just to make this cash flow, this is not the property for you as a beginner. You need to avoid these types of properties because if the deal dies when you go on vacation, it's not a deal. Okay. It becomes a job and not recommended as a beginner to get into. And lastly, beginners, that's you. You need deals at cash flow when hiring a third-party property management company where the deal can afford to pay their property manager between 6 to 8 or to 10% of the rental income. Okay, that's what you want. You do not want to do all the management of this property and be the hero to make it work. If you are overextending yourself experience-wise, technology-wise, and money-wise because you cannot do all this and be successful and build a successful portfolio. Got it? All right. So properties that require you to be a hero, avoid those properties like the plague if you're a beginner. All right, last but not least is property number 5, to never buy, okay? Property number 5 is the great deal that you found, okay? The great deal found without a mentor or experienced team. Okay, let me just tell you this up front. It can get very expensive being cheap, okay? So don't be this person. I know some of you are smart and I get it, but if you're the type of person that says, oh, I can figure this out, I'll watch some YouTube videos. In fact, I'll watch some of Peter's, right? I'll listen to podcasts, or I can get AI to help me give me all the answers, okay? Don't be that person, especially if you're a beginner and especially if this is your first deal, because you may not know, okay? Because your lack of experience, they're red flags that you will find in a property's income and expense statements. When you deal with commercial property, there are no disclosures, legal disclosures, consumer protection that applies to you. Okay, so the seller can lie through his teeth on his income expense statements, and there's nothing you can do about it. Okay, number two, they may lie in the rent roll. Okay, we do a rent roll audit on every deal that we do, and a lot of times there are discrepancies in there that work against the person buying the property. So there are lies in the rent roll they need to be able to find. All right, next is very important. You need protection clauses in your contract, or you could lose all of your earnest money deposit. Okay, so earnest money deposits range from $5,000 to $25,000 just to get it under contract. And if you do not have the protection clauses in the contract, you could forfeit that up to $25,000 or $100,000 of your deposit. Okay. Next is you probably need help structuring creative financing. You need to know when the seller says this, it can mean seller financing. The seller says that, it can mean we're going to do a sell carry first, master lease, sell carry second, right? All these types of things we help our students do. Once we have our student upload the deal into our system and we're on the calls with them and we listen very carefully, we can tell which bucket of creative financing this deal would apply. Okay, got it. And then also too, if your deal is not creative financing, if you have to go to the bank, there's ways to get the best loan terms. You just can't go to your local bank and get the best loan term. There are ways of positioning yourself and the property of getting the best loan terms. So don't go it alone, okay? And lastly, it is what to do if something goes wrong. And in every deal, something always goes wrong. It's the nature of real estate, whether it's buying a single family home or a 12-unit apartment building or a retail center, something always goes wrong when you are dealing with a property, either under contract or owning it. And if you go it alone, guess what? You can wind up in a pretty deep pickle. Got it? All right, everyone, thank you so much. Those are the 5 properties beginners should never buy. Got it? All right, so if you enjoyed this video, do me a favor, go ahead and hit the like button. And if you want to get more videos like this, go ahead and subscribe and we will push them your way. Again, thank you so much for watching and I'll see you at the next video. Would you like to work with me? Every successful commercial real estate investor has a mentor. Learn more about my Protégé program right here.